Hey y'all, it's your man ChazzEllis again, and I'm responding to a question. This is a segment I do called Best Question of the Day, and the question that was asked for me is, why won't my man marry me? Good question, and whenever I hear a good question, I like to answer it. And the major answer to this question, there's actually two answers to this question. I want y'all to get your pens and paper ready and write this down because it's really important. It's going to be hard for you to remember. Two answers to this question. Because he doesn't want to, and because he doesn't have to. Nah, man, you don't got to write that stuff down, man. It's obvious. Because he doesn't want to and because he doesn't have to. Now, I know a lot of women will listen to what I just said and be like, what? But just hear me out. If the man had to marry you, if he had to, you wouldn't be asking the question, why won't my man marry me? Because you would already left him. See, so he obviously doesn't have to marry you for you to be there, for you to stick around. Because he doesn't want to is the next reason. Well, how do I know he doesn't want to? Because if he wanted to, he already would have done it. He doesn't want to, and he doesn't have to. Now, it's kind of one of those things where it doesn't matter how long you guys have been together. If you can work together 6 months, 6 years, 6 days, whatever. He doesn't want to marry you, he doesn't have to. Now, if you've been together 6 days, he doesn't want to marry you because he only known your ass 6 days. Why would he marry you? Come on. If you've been together 6 months, maybe still too short a period of time for him. If you've been together 6 years, there's something about you that he does not find as marriage material. I don't care if it may not be your fault. It may be stuff that he did to you that makes you feel like you have to be that way. But worrying about somebody else isn't helping you. What you got to focus on is, what is it about me that is making this person now want to marry me? Now, what we have to deal with, what you have to deal with is that you're not going to change the fact that he has to marry, that he doesn't have to marry you. You're not going to change that. I don't care if y'all have 10 kids together. I don't care what you do. He's never going to have to marry you. That's never going to happen. So all the ultimatums that people say give, you need to demand that he marries you, and you need to make him, and blah. You're never going to make a dude have to marry you. So let's not even deal with that, with it doesn't have to, because it's not going to change. Now, so what we need to deal with is do not want to. And when we deal with the do not want to, the first thing you have to understand is it's going to be hard for you to accept maybe, but when you get to the point where you ask the question, why won't my man marry me? The relationship is already doomed. So all the advice I'm giving you is most likely going to be for your next relationship. Because this one probably ain't going to result in marriage. I'm just keeping it real with you. You could try to throw some of this stuff in here on this relationship. Hopefully it works. I don't know. But the chances are this is going to be stuff that you're going to use in your next relationship because you made some critical mistakes in this one to get you where you are now. Let's keep it real. Let's put the focus on ourselves, figure out how to get where we want to go. First thing you need to do is look at how you present yourself. And when I say how you present yourself, that means mentally, physically, just your attitude, your personal demeanor. How do you come off to other people? When you go and deal with a guy, the first day you meet him, he's making a decision on what category to put you in. This is girlfriend, potentially wife material, or smash and stop talking to. Some girls, their first-hand presentation puts them in the girlfriend category, but not necessarily in the wife category. He may meet you and be like, this is a chick that's cool to hang out with for a long period of time. But it's something about you that doesn't necessarily say wife to him. And when you're like that, and when you're not necessarily in the wife category to a guy, it kind of messes you up. From the beginning, you're messed up, okay? And it's hard to recover from that. So one of the things you want to do is you want to make sure that you put your best foot forward. Make sure you're in the best shape you can be in. The way you dress is nice but not slutty. And the way you come off is like you got a good attitude and a good head on your shoulders. And you're not all standoffish and all that crap. That's going to help you to attract the type of person that's going to look at you as marriage material. Because if a dude's not looking at you that way, it doesn't matter what he is. He could be the nicest guy in the world. He's not going to be that way to you. He's not going to want to be with you. So he could be the type of guy that wants to settle down and get married, but he ain't going to want to do it with you. The next thing is, and this might make a lot of chicks mad, I don't know. But one of the biggest things you have to look at is the types of relationships that you engage in. For instance, if you're the type of person that are in friends with benefits relationships, you are probably not going to fuck around and get married because you're wasting your time. You only have a certain amount of time. If you look at the fact that you got work, some people have kids to take care of, you got friends also, you got all this different stuff. If you got a friends with benefits relationship going on, or you just hooking up with dudes and randomly fucking them, the chances of you finding somebody that's going to marry you has decreased astronomically because you're using your time on the wrong type of people. It's not necessarily the dude's like, I ain't turning a hoe into a housewife, as much as it is, you still hoeing. You got to stop the hoeing. That's got to stop at some point. You can't sit out here and be with all these, and I know women will be like, well, men do it too. Men do it too. Men usually ain't looking to get married. They're looking to just enjoy themselves and fuck. And women are looking to get married. So men marry women because they find the right woman. That's not necessarily what they were looking for to begin with. So if you're looking for something, then you got to work like you're looking for that. Don't do all this getting sidetracked crap. If you want to be a doctor, don't be putting in your applications at McDonald's. That don't make no damn sense. Put in your applications at hospitals. Come on now. You over here messing with dudes, just letting them smash all the time. You're wasting your damn time. Don't do that. Use your time wisely. Only engage in relationships that can go towards marriage. If you don't see them going in that direction, get out of it. Don't waste your time. Another thing women have to do is you have to acquire marriage skills. And what I mean by that is, I know so many women are like, I want to find a man to marry me, and I want to get in a real relationship with a man who really loves me and wants to marry me. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. But in the same breath, they'll sit there and go, yeah, I don't really cook. Yeah, I don't do laundry. I don't wash no dishes. That's not for me to do. I don't be doing that. And I'm thinking to myself, you're not acquiring marriage skills. You don't have skills that are going to lead somebody to want to be married to you. That's why you'll get a guy to be your boyfriend for a little while, but he's not necessarily looking at you as being a wife because you can't take care of him. You know, you want a job that you're not qualified for. If you want to be married, you're going to have to do marriage stuff. I know a lot of women are like, it's 2013. I'm working. I shouldn't have to do all that mess. Well, if that's the way you think, then for you, marriage is an outdated concept. And it's not one you should be looking to get to. If you feel like that role for a woman is outdated and you shouldn't have to do any of those things that a man would need to want to be married to you, it's silly for you to try to get married. That's stupid. You've outgrown marriage, so don't do it. You know, I don't know, be single or whatever the hell you feel like doing. Don't try to get in the outdated concept. If you feel it's outdated, don't fuck with it. Another thing you have to do is when you get into relationships, you have to find married advice. And what I mean by that is you have to find advice from somebody who is already married and has been married for a while. You have to find advice from a woman. Once you get into that relationship, find advice from a woman who is married, who has been married for a while. If your mama ain't married, she is not a good advice giver. I know you love mama. I know you love auntie. I know you love all these other people in your family and friends. But you don't take advice from people who don't have what you want. That's stupid. Would you ever take advice from a bum about getting a job? Dude, you're a fucking bum. So if you knew how to get a job, you would already got one. So you're not going to take advice from somebody who doesn't have what you're aspiring to get. That's stupid. And it will not work. Just throwing it out there. Basically, what you have to do is you have to take responsibility for your own life in your own situation. And that is, the way you go about that is you internalize what's happened. This dude doesn't want to marry you. You got to look at what it is about you that's stopping that from happening. Because you got to think, if this dude ain't wanting to marry you, and you've never been married before, it's probably not the fact that all these dudes are assholes, but it's probably got something to do with the fact that there's something about you that's making people not want to marry you. So take a look at that. Hit me up on AskChazzEllis. Get these questions into me, and hopefully make lives better.